All right, so have you ever like sent a text and then just waited and waited for a reply?
Oh, yeah.
Especially, in the
Yeah.
dating world.
For sure.
It's like one of the biggest mysteries,
It
right?
is. It is. I feel like we could spend a whole deep dive on just that.
Totally. And that's exactly what we're going to do today, folks.
Yeah.
We're diving deep into the age-old question
Mhm.
of why guys take forever to text back.
Oh, boy.
So, to guide us through this texting labyrinth,
Okay.
we've got a fantastic article from Style Craze.
Yes, Style Craze.
It's called The True Reasons Guys Don't Text Back Easily.
Good one.
And, just so everyone knows,
Yeah.
this isn't just some random internet theory.
No, no, no. It's been looked over by relationship experts.
Yeah,
So, we're dealing with some real insights here.
exactly. So, let's just get right to it.
Yeah, let's jump in.
The big question everyone wants to know, is he just not that into me?
Ooh, that's the one, isn't it?
Right.
It's the question that keeps us up at night.
Absolutely. Or,
Right.
is there something else going on?
Well, it's tricky because
Yeah.
a lack of interest can definitely be part of it,
Sure.
but it's not always the whole story.
Right.
Sometimes it's really as simple as
Yeah.
he's just swamped.
Okay, so the classic busy excuse.
Well, not always an excuse, right?
Mhm.
I mean, think about it. We all have those days.
Right.
Work deadlines,
Mhm.
family stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe he's even doing a digital detox,
I actually know a few people who do that, yeah.
It's a thing. So before jumping to conclusions,
Yeah,
it's good to remember that life happens.
totally. But let's say he's not drowning in work emails,
Okay.
and he's not off the grid on some silent retreat.
Right, right.
What else could be going on?
All right, well, this is where it gets interesting.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
Sometimes the delay,
Yeah.
it's not so much about him being busy.
Mm.
It's more about,
Hi.
those early dating jitters.
Oh, okay.
The article talks about how inconsistent testing, especially in the beginning,
Right.
can actually be a sign that he is interested,
Really?
but he's kind of hesitant.
Okay, so wait, this is
Oh,
like
yeah.
reverse psychology or something.
It can feel that way. It might seem counterintuitive, but sometimes those guys who are
Yeah.
really into you,
Mhm.
they might actually hold back a little
Interesting.
because they're nervous.
Okay, I can see that.
They don't want to come on too strong.
So are they hoping that, like,
Yeah,
I'll be the one to text first?
it's possible. They could be waiting for a sign.
So, like, is this like
Okay.
some weird texting standoff?
Sometimes it feels that way, right?
Yeah.
Both people waiting for the other one to make a move.
I've definitely been there.
And, this kind of ties into another reason for the delayed responses.
Okay, lay it on me.
The playing hard to get game.
Seriously, is that still a thing?
You'd be surprised. Some guys still believe
What?
that appearing less available makes them more desirable.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, but let's be real, it's frustrating.
So frustrating.
And it doesn't always work.
Not a good strategy.
Not the best. So we've got the busy schedules, we've got the shy guys,
Right?
we've got the ones playing games.
Got it.
What else is going on in that male texting psyche?
Okay, give me the inside scoop.
All right, here's one that might resonate.
Okay.
The article calls it text bomb overload.
Text bomb overload.
It's this idea that some guys,
Yeah.
they just get overwhelmed.
By too many texts.
Yeah, when they're bombarded with messages.
So, like, no more triple texting.
Well, I wouldn't say no more.
Okay.
It's about finding a balance, you know?
Right.
Think about it. If your phone's constantly buzzing,
Yeah.
it can feel like pressure
Mm-hmm.
more than a fun conversation.
I totally get that.
Right. I mean, I've definitely felt that way. Like
Yeah.
you're being pulled into a conversation you're not ready for.
Exactly. And, this next reason is a bit sensitive,
Oh,
but we got to talk about it.
yeah, let's do it.
Sometimes a guy might pull back
Okay.
if he feels like you're emotionally unloading too soon.
Oh, that makes sense.
So we're not talking about a casual, how was your day text, right?
No, no, no.
This is more like revealing your deepest, darkest secrets on the first date.
Exactly. Yeah. Like, vulnerability is important,
Of course.
but there's a time and a place.
All right.
Imagine you're on a first date
Okay. Yeah.
and the person across the table
Mm-hmm.
just starts sharing super personal stuff
Oh, no.
before you've even finished your appetizer.
Too much too soon.
Right. It can be overwhelming.
Yeah, you need time to build that trust,
Got it, right.
before you dive into the deep end.
Exactly.
But doesn't that go both ways?
Oh, for sure. For sure.
Like, couldn't guys be doing the same thing?
Absolutely. This isn't just a girl thing.
Right.
It's about realizing that intimacy takes time,
Yeah.
and both people have to feel safe sharing at their own pace.
So it's like pacing ourselves emotionally,
Yeah,
just like we would with any other part of a relationship.
exactly. It's all about finding that rhythm.
That works for both people. I like that.
Yeah, exactly. And speaking of finding a rhythm,
Uh,
the article mentions this other thing guys struggle with, the balance
yeah.
between showing interest
Okay.
and coming across as too needy or clingy.
Oh, that's the worst.
Right. Like, how much is too much?
So are they saying that's why they take so long to reply?
Well, sometimes it manifests that way, yeah.
Okay.
They might wait a bit to text back
Right.
because they don't want to seem too eager.
So it's like
No.
they're overthinking it just as much as we are.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
We're all just trying to figure this whole thing out.
And there's no easy answer, right?
Nope. When it comes to communication styles,
Yeah.
it's so different for everyone.
What one person thinks is playing it cool,
Yeah,
another person might think is just being rude.
exactly. It's
Yeah.
all about context and preferences.
Totally.
You know.
So much to unpack here. So we've talked about busy schedules. We've talked about shy guys, even that whole text bomb thing.
Right, right.
But what about just straight up ghosting?
Ooh, yeah. The ghosting phenomenon.
Like, is it possible he's just moved on without a word?
It's always a possibility,
Yeah.
especially early on,
Yeah.
if things just suddenly go quiet.
It's like the worst kind of rejection, right?
The silent treatment.
Because you're left wondering what happened.
Totally, yeah. No closure.
But is there ever a good reason for ghosting?
I'd say it's rarely a kind way to end things.
Right.
But sometimes, especially in those very early stages,
Okay.
people ghost because they just can't face the awkwardness.
Of saying they're not interested.
Yeah. It's easier to just disappear.
That just makes it worse, doesn't it?
Oh, it does. Easy questioning everything.
Exactly. But before we go down that rabbit hole,
Okay.
what are some less dramatic reasons for a communication breakdown?
Right. Well, sometimes it really is as simple as being out of range.
Okay, give me some hope here.
He could be traveling, bad cell service,
Yeah, that happens.
maybe his phone died. Who
Yeah.
knows?
So not every unanswered text is a sign of the apocalypse.
Exactly. Exactly. Life happens.
But how do we know the difference?
Oh, that's where it gets tricky.
Okay.
The article really stresses looking at patterns,
Okay.
not just isolated incidents.
Right, right.
So if someone genuinely forgets to reply or they're actually busy,
Yeah.
they'll usually apologize
Okay.
or at least explain themselves when they resurface.
So it's about taking responsibility, even if it was an honest mistake.
Exactly. It's basic respect for the other person's time.
But what if they consistently disappear without a word?
Then that's a big red flag
Okay.
because it shows a lack of respect.
And speaking of red flags,
Yeah.
what about the possibility that he's hiding something?
Ooh, interesting. Like what?
Like maybe he's already in a relationship?
The secret double life.
Right. How do we decode those mixed signals?
Well, the article gives some classic signs to look out for.
Okay, I'm all ears.
Does he only text back at certain times?
Like late at night?
Maybe, yeah. Or avoids weekend plans?
Ooh, suspicious.
Right. Or what about when you ask about his life? Do
Yeah.
you get all vague? Or never introduce you to friends?
Okay, those are definitely red flags.
Yeah, it's all about trusting your gut.
If something feels off, it probably is.
Exactly.
But what if he's not being shady on purpose?
Okay.
What if he's just got some baggage from past relationships?
Yeah. The ghosts of relationships past.
Could that affect how he texts?
Absolutely. Past experiences, especially the bad ones, can really change how people approach new relationships.
Right.
The article mentions guys who have been hurt before.
Yeah,
They might be more cautious,
makes sense.
slower to respond, hesitant to open up.
So it's not always about playing games.
No, not at all.
It's just that they need a little extra time to feel safe.
Exactly. It's a reminder that everyone comes into dating
Yeah.
with their own story, their own vulnerabilities.
And sometimes we need to be patient with that.
Absolutely. And speaking of different approaches,
Yeah.
we have to remember that not everyone is a texting champion.
Right. Some people prefer talking on the phone.
Exactly. Or even face-to-face.
So it's not necessarily a lack of interest,
Not always, no.
just different communication styles.
Right. And here's a fascinating point from the article.
Okay, tell me more.
The time it takes him to respond,
Yeah.
it can actually give you subtle clues.
Ooh, I love a good decoding mission.
So, for example, if he's responding within seconds
Okay.
or just a few minutes,
Yeah.
it could mean he's really into it.
Okay, that's a good sign.
Right. He wants to keep the conversation going.
Got it. So the fast replies, good.
Generally, yeah.
Yeah.
But then there's the other extreme.
Radio silence.
Yeah. Not so good.
Yeah.
But what about the in-between zone?
Okay, yeah. What about...
Like if he responds within, say, 10 minutes to an hour,
Mm-hmm.
it probably just means he's busy.
Okay, reasonable.
Right. We all have things to do.
So we shouldn't overanalyze every minute.
Exactly. Give him the benefit of the doubt.
Easier said than done sometimes.
I know. But what if the responses are all over the place?
Okay, yeah, like sometimes it's minutes, sometimes hours.
Yeah, inconsistent.
Is that a bad sign?
Unless there's a good explanation for it.
Yeah.
It might mean he's not as invested.
Ooh.
Or he's not prioritizing communication.
Inconsistent replies. Yellow flag.
Exactly. Now, what about those times when it takes days, even weeks?
Yeah, is that ever okay?
Well, there are those rare situations where someone genuinely forgets.
Okay.
Or life just gets crazy.
Right.
We've all been there.
But if it's a constant thing?
If it's a pattern, yeah, that's a problem.
Okay.
It means communication isn't a priority for him.
So then you have to decide if you're okay with that.
Exactly.
This is making so much sense.
Good.
We're finally cracking the code. But I gotta ask, any expert tips on reviving a dying text conversation?
Ooh, the art of the text resurrection.
Right.
Without seeming desperate.
That's a good question. A lot of people struggle with that.
I know I do.
One of the best things you can do is ask a thoughtful question.
Okay.
Something related to what he's talked about before.
Okay.
Or something you know he's passionate about.
So you're showing you were listening.
Exactly.
And that you're genuinely interested.
Right. And it takes the pressure off you.
To be super clever or witty.
Yeah. It's just genuine connection.
I like that.
Yeah.
Any other conversation revival tricks?
Well, you could share something interesting or funny that reminded you of him.
Like a meme.
Yeah, a meme, a news article, even just a random thought.
Okay. Those are good. I'm taking notes.
Good.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into guy texting, what are the key takeaways you want our listeners to remember?
You know, the article makes a really great point.
Okay.
It says that while there's some general pattern,
Right.
everyone communicates differently.
Yeah, for sure.
So the most important thing is to pay attention.
To his overall behavior.
Got it.
Trust your instincts.
Trust your gut.
And don't be afraid to communicate your own needs.
Because a good relationship should feel good.
Absolutely.
Not make you anxious all the time.
Exactly. You deserve that.
Those are wise words. I feel like I have a whole new understanding.
Good. I'm glad.
Not just about texting, but about relationships in general.
That's what it's all about, right?
It is. So we've uncovered a lot of reasons why guys might be slow on the text replies.
Yeah, we've gone through a lot.
But how do we really know what's going on, beyond all the theories?
Right. Cut through the noise.
Exactly. Because at the end of the day, we want to know if it's worth our time.
Absolutely. And the Style Craze article, actually, it gives a really great perspective on this.
Okay, tell me.
It boils down to this. Actions speak louder than words.
Ooh, I like that.
It's a classic for a reason.
Right.
So it's not just about the texts themselves.
Okay.
It's about the bigger picture.
So looking at his behavior overall. Exactly.
Not getting hung up on one slow reply.
Right. Texting is just one piece of the puzzle.
Makes sense.
To really understand someone's intentions, gotta pay attention to their actions.
It's easy to overthink those early texts.
Oh, for sure.
But you're saying his behavior in other areas is probably more telling?
It is. It's about connecting the dots.
Okay, I like that. Connecting the dots.
Does he follow through on what he says?
Okay, yeah.
Does he make an effort to see you?
Right, like actually initiate plans.
Exactly. Is he present when you're together?
So those are the real signs.
Those are the things that matter.
So if he's consistently showing up, being respectful, interested,
then maybe the slow texting is not a big deal.
Just a quirk?
It could be. But on the other hand,
okay, yeah.
If his actions don't match his words, or there's this disconnect between what he says and what he does,
that's when we pay attention.
That's the red flag.
Red flag alert.
It all comes down to trusting your gut. Yeah, I feel like we've been given permission to not overthink every little thing.
And to value yourself.
Exactly.
You deserve someone who communicates in a way that feels good.
Yes. Someone who makes you feel valued, not anxious.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Well, thank you so much for sharing your expertise with us today.
It was my pleasure, really.
I feel like I've learned so much.
Good. I'm glad.
Not just about texting, but about relationships as a whole.
Like it's all connected.
It really is.
So listeners, we want to hear from you.
Yes. Tell us about your texting dilemmas.
What are your strategies?
Share your stories on social media.
We love connecting with you.
We do.
And until next time, Remember to keep those lines of communication open
Trust your gut.
and never settle
Absolutely.
for anything less than you deserve.
Couldn't agree more.
It's been great being here.
Thanks for joining us on the deep dive.
Until next time.
Bye, everyone.